Well, ended up getting the titanium MiG 140. Let's open it up and see what we get inside. Braided hose. It's kind of a step up from their typical just plastic hose. Well, that's everything in the box, but I am missing my spool gun. There it is. They were hiding the spool gun. Guess wanted to save space and make a smaller box. Okay, we are going to test out the flux core wire first. To do that, kind of an interesting ground setup how they have it. So if you're doing flux core, then this guy will go into there. We got the ground clamp. The ground clamp's going in the middle. Just like that, we're ready to go with flux core. Here's the diagram underneath the hood. It has the rated duty cycle of 3 minutes welding for 7 minutes resting. So a 30% at 90 amp. Maybe in another video we'll test out if that's the real duty cycle or if you can do a little more or less. So the manual suggests to get the right tension, what you'll want to do is go about 2 or 3 inches away from a piece of wood, and you'll add tension until it starts bending. I'd actually only ever learned the coil technique, that you kind of put it off at an angle and you want it to start coiling up, but we'll try their method. So here at 2 or 3 inches, doesn't bend, we'll add a little more. Well, didn't bend, but it started doing the whole coil thing that I've been taught, so I'm actually going to keep it right there for right now. Okay, let's test out this flux core. The table underneath the hood says for roughly 16 gauge, the wire speed should be around 120 with a voltage of around, let's see here, with a voltage of around 15. So these are straight up what's underneath the hood, so let's just test it out. Not bad for the first couple welds. until the one part where I burnt through. I did notice after the fact that I had it about the wire speed up about 10, 15 higher. Could be the reason why, but it'll be fun to mess around and play around with to dial this one down. I'm gonna hook up the gas and do the other side now, and we'll go from there. Okay, to hook up the gas, super simple. I already have my regulator hooked up, and so I'm just going to thread that in. And then to change the polarity, you just flip these two around. There. Just need to switch out my wire and we'll be good to go. We're now going to test it with some solid wire and gas. I'm running a 2575 mix. No cleanup necessary. Messing around with it and playing with it, my thoughts are that I really like this machine. It's a great little I think intermediate welder between their Vulcan and the 125. It lays just as good as a weld as the Vulcan. The only difference I believe is that it is the duty cycle. I like the infinite controls. You know, the digital display is nice. I don't really think it's necessary, but it's a good little feature. This little guy, there's what's called a 2-touch and a 4-touch. So the 2-touch is just your normal welding. You pull the trigger and you weld until you pull off the trigger. Whereas the 4-trigger is you push it in and it will start welding until you push it again. So kind of took me a couple times to get used to that. A little different. The setup was super easy. I mean, you guys saw it took what, 5-10 minutes. That was, you know, real time. These quick connect clamps are nice to make it easy. Just push in and twist. The table diagram that is included underneath the lid does a pretty good job, pretty accurate for the settings. So I would suggest getting this if you are in the market for a new welder. The one thing I love about this welder is the size. I mean, this thing is about half the weight of the Vulcan and a little smaller in the frame, and that's what you get with it being an inverter. It's really great, small. I'd have to say I love it for the size. I definitely think you get your money's worth out of this one. It's a great little welder.